Sarah Chen yawned as she walked into her boring office. It was Monday, and she was ready for another dull week of answering phones and typing emails. Little did she know, her life was about to change big time. As Sarah sat at her desk, her boss, Mr. Johnson, came running in. He looked excited and out of breath. "Sarah, big news," he shouted, making her spill her coffee. "What's up, Mr. J?" Sarah asked, trying to clean up the mess. Mr. Johnson grinned. "You've been picked for a super important job. The government wants you to go to space and talk to aliens." Sarah's jaw dropped. She thought her boss was joking. "Me? But I'm just a regular office worker. I don't know anything about space or aliens." "That's why they picked you," Mr. Johnson explained. "They want a normal person to show the aliens what humans are really like." Sarah couldn't believe it. Her heart was racing. She had never even been on a plane before, and now they wanted her to go to space. "When do I leave?" she asked, still in shock. "Tomorrow," Mr. Johnson said. "You need to go home and pack right now." Sarah rushed home, her mind spinning. What do you pack for a trip to space? She threw some clothes in a suitcase, then stopped. There was one thing she knew she needed: her lucky socks. These weren't just any socks. They were bright purple with little green aliens on them. Sarah had worn them for every important day in her life. First day of school, job interviews, first dates. These socks had seen it all. As she packed her lucky socks, Sarah's phone rang. It was her mom. "Sarah, honey, I just saw the news. My little girl is going to space," her mom cried. "Mom, I'm scared," Sarah admitted. "What if I mess up? What if the aliens don't like me?" Her mom laughed. "Sweetie, just be yourself. That's why they picked you, and don't forget to take pictures." After talking to her mom, Sarah felt a little better. But as she tried to sleep that night, her mind was full of questions. What did aliens look like? Would they be friendly? Did they have funny-looking spaceships like in the movies? The next morning, a big black car came to pick up Sarah. As she got in, she saw her neighbors peeking out their windows. Everyone knew she was going to space now. The car took her to a secret base. There were lots of important-looking people in suits rushing around. They took Sarah to a room full of fancy space gear. "Time to suit up," a scientist told her. Sarah put on the spacesuit. It was heavy and made her feel like a robot. But when she looked in the mirror, she couldn't help but smile. She looked like a real astronaut. Then they took her to see the spaceship. It was huge and shiny, nothing like the rockets Sarah had seen on TV. Her heart beat fast as she realized she would soon be inside it, flying through space. A tall man in a military uniform walked up to Sarah. "Ms. Chen, I'm General Baker. Are you ready for your mission?" Sarah took a deep breath. "I think so, sir. But can you tell me more about these aliens? What should I say to them?" The general smiled. "Just be honest and friendly. These aliens have been watching our TV shows for years. They think all humans are like characters from sitcoms. Your job is to show them what real humans are like." Sarah nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. As she walked towards the spaceship, she remembered something. "Wait," she cried. "I forgot to put on my lucky socks." The whole launch crew waited as Sarah quickly changed her socks. Some people laughed, but Sarah didn't care. She needed all the luck she could get. As Sarah strapped into her seat in the spaceship, she looked out the window. She could see her city getting smaller as they took off. The earth looked so beautiful from up high. Sarah closed her eyes as the ship went faster and faster. This was it. She was leaving Earth, going to meet aliens, and it was all happening so fast. But she was ready. With her lucky socks on and her sense of humor, Sarah Chen was about to become Earth's most unlikely hero. As the spaceship broke through Earth's atmosphere, Sarah opened her eyes. The darkness of space was all around her, filled with twinkling stars. It was the most amazing thing she had ever seen. Wow, she whispered to herself. This office job just got a whole lot more interesting. Sarah had been floating in space for 3 days. She was just getting used to eating food from tubes and doing flips in zero gravity when everything changed. "Ms. Chen, please come to the control room immediately," a voice crackled over the ship's speakers. Sarah floated quickly through the corridors, bumping into walls as she went. She still wasn't great at spacewalking. When she reached the control room, she saw all the astronauts looking worried. "What's going on?" Sarah asked, trying to sound brave. Captain Rodriguez pointed to a big screen. "Look," he said. Sarah's eyes went wide. The screen showed hundreds, maybe thousands, of spaceships appearing near Earth. They were huge and shaped like triangles. They definitely weren't from Earth. "Are those the aliens?" Sarah whispered. The captain nodded. "They just showed up out of nowhere. We've never seen so many ships before." Suddenly, all the screens in the control room lit up. It was the President of the United States calling. "Ms. Chen," the President said, looking very serious. "We need you to talk to these aliens right now. Find out what they want. The whole world is counting on you." Sarah gulped. This wasn't what she had signed up for. She thought she'd have more time to prepare. Back on Earth, things were crazy. People everywhere saw the alien ships in the sky. Some people were scared and hid in their houses. Others went outside to look, taking pictures with their phones. The army got ready for a fight, just in case. They sent jets to fly near the alien ships. But the aliens didn't do anything. They just stayed there, floating above the Earth. In New York, people crowded into Times Square, watching the news on the big screens. In Paris, people climbed the Eiffel Tower to get a better look at the ships. Even in small towns, people gathered in the streets, looking up at the sky and wondering what would happen next. World leaders had emergency meetings. They all asked the same question: what do the aliens want? Meanwhile, Sarah's little spaceship flew towards the massive alien fleet. She put on her spacesuit, making sure her lucky socks were on underneath. Her hands shook as she got ready to leave her ship. "You can do this, Sarah," Captain Rodriguez said, giving her a thumbs up. Sarah took a deep breath and stepped into the airlock. The door opened, and she floated out into open space. The alien mothership was right in front of her, so big it blocked out the stars. A bright light shone down on Sarah, and she felt herself being pulled towards the alien ship. "Here goes nothing," she muttered to herself. Inside the alien ship, everything was strange. The walls looked alive, changing colors as Sarah walked past. The air smelled like strawberries, which was not what she expected in an alien spaceship. Suddenly, a door opened. Sarah walked in and found herself in a big room. At the other end was a creature that looked like a mix between an octopus and a tree. It had tentacles, but also branches with leaves. Sarah guessed this was the alien leader. "Hello," Sarah said, waving awkwardly. "I'm Sarah Chen from Earth. We, noticed you guys showed up, and we were wondering, what's up?" The alien made a sound like wind chimes. A machine next to it started speaking in English. "Greetings, Sarah Chen from Earth. We are the Xyloxians. We have come to test your planet." Sarah blinked. "Test us? Like a school test? I'm not great at tests, to be honest." The alien's leaves rustled, which Sarah thought might be laughter. "Not that kind of test. We have been watching your television shows. We wish to know if humans are truly as we have seen." Sarah's eyes went wide. She remembered what General Baker had told her about the aliens watching TV shows. "Oh boy," she thought, "they're in for a surprise." "So," Sarah said slowly, "what exactly do you think humans are like?" The alien's tentacles waved excitedly. "Based on your transmissions, we believe all humans can sing and dance perfectly at any moment, that you solve all problems in 30 Earth minutes, and that you frequently transform into superheroes to save your planet." Sarah couldn't help it. She started laughing. Here she was, in a massive alien spaceship talking to a tree octopus about TV shows. It was too funny. But her laughter seemed to confuse the alien. Its colors changed to a dark purple. "Have we made an error?" it asked. Sarah realized she needed to explain quickly. The fate of Earth might depend on what she said next. "Well," she began, "it's a funny story, actually. You see, those TV shows aren't exactly." But before Sarah could finish, alarms started blaring throughout the alien ship. The alien leader's colors changed rapidly. "What's happening?" Sarah asked, suddenly scared. The alien's translator spoke urgently. "Our sensors detect a massive energy surge from Earth. It appears your planet is activating some kind of weapon." Sarah's heart sank. Despite her efforts, it looked like the sky was about to get a whole lot more troublesome. Sarah's mind was racing. The alien ship was in chaos, alarms blaring everywhere. She had to do something fast. "Wait," she shouted at the alien leader. "I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. Let me talk to Earth." The tree octopus alien waved its tentacles, and a big screen appeared. On it, Sarah saw the worried face of General Baker. "Sarah, thank goodness," the general said. "What's going on up there?" Sarah tried to stay calm. "Everything's fine, General. But the aliens think you're pointing a weapon at them. Are you?" The general looked confused. "Weapon? Oh no, that must be Project Rainbow." "It's not a weapon. It's a peace sign." Sarah turned to the alien leader. "See? No weapon. They're trying to welcome you." The alien's colors changed to a calm blue. "Explain this. Project Rainbow," it said. Sarah nodded to the general, who started talking excitedly. "We gathered thousands of lights all over the world. When turned on together, they make a giant rainbow visible from space. It's a symbol of peace." The alien leader's leaves rustled. "Fascinating. We misunderstood. Perhaps we have much to learn about each other." Sarah breathed a sigh of relief. Crisis averted. But suddenly, she felt weird. Her heart started beating super fast. Her chest hurt. She felt dizzy. Although, Sarah thought, she recognized these feelings. It was like the time she ate too much spicy food at her cousin's wedding. But worse. Sarah tried to focus on the alien leader, but the room was spinning. She heard the general's voice from far away. "Sarah, are you okay? You look pale." Sarah opened her mouth to say she was fine, but no words came out. Instead, she fell to the floor with a thud. The alien leader's tentacles waved in alarm. "The human has malfunctioned," it exclaimed. On the screen, General Baker was shouting orders. "Medical emergency. We need to get her back to Earth now." But the aliens didn't know what to do. They had never seen a human malfunction before. One alien poked Sarah with a tentacle. Another tried to restart her like a computer, pressing her nose like a button. Back on Earth, everyone was watching. News channels showed Sarah collapsing over and over. People in the streets gasped. In hospitals, doctors argued about what could be wrong. Inside the alien ship, things were getting crazy. The alien leader thought Sarah's malfunction might be contagious. It ordered all aliens to stay away from her. Poor Sarah lay on the floor, breathing hard, while aliens ran around in panic. General Baker was still on the screen, trying to calm everyone down. "It's just a heart attack," he shouted. "It happens sometimes. We need to get her to a doctor." The aliens had never heard of a heart attack. They thought humans had backup hearts, like in the sci-fi movies they'd seen. The idea that humans could just break was shocking to them. One brave young alien, who had been studying human biology as a hobby, stepped forward. "I think I can help," it said. This alien looked different from the others. Instead of tentacles and leaves, it had long, noodle-like arms and a head shaped like a light bulb. It floated over to Sarah and gently lifted her up. "We need to restart her heart," the alien said, like jump-starting a spaceship. The alien placed its noodle arms on Sarah's chest. Suddenly, a small zap of electricity jumped from the alien to Sarah. Sarah's body jerked. Everyone held their breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, Sarah's eyes fluttered open. "Wow," she said weakly. "That was scary." The aliens cheered, their colors changing to bright, happy shades. The young alien who saved Sarah looked proud. Even General Baker on the screen was smiling with relief. But the alien leader still looked worried. "If humans are so fragile," it said, "how do you survive?" Sarah sat up slowly, feeling embarrassed but also kind of amused. Here she was, having a heart attack in front of aliens. It was like a weird dream. "Well," she said, "we're tougher than we look. Sure, our bodies might get sick sometimes, but we always find a way to bounce back. It's what humans do best." The alien leader thought about this. Its colors swirled as it considered Sarah's words. "Perhaps," it said finally, "humans are more interesting than we realized. We came to test you, but it seems we are the ones being tested." Sarah smiled. Despite her aching chest and the embarrassment of fainting in front of an alien fleet, she felt like she had made progress. The aliens were starting to understand humans better. "So," Sarah said, trying to lighten the mood, "anyone want to watch some real TV? I could use a funny cat video right about now." The aliens looked at each other, confused. "Cat video?" the leader asked. Sarah grinned. "Oh boy, do I have a treat for you guys. But first, any chance you have some aspirin on this ship? My head is killing me." As the aliens rushed to find something to help Sarah feel better, she couldn't help but laugh. This was definitely not how she expected her space adventure to go. But somehow, her heart attack might have just saved Earth from an alien misunderstanding. Sarah looked out the window at the Earth below, its surface now glowing with the rainbow lights of Project Rainbow. "What a day," she thought. "I can't wait to tell Mom about this one." Sarah woke up in a strange bed. For a moment, she thought she was back home. But then she saw the blinking lights and heard the beeping machines. She was in the medical bay of the alien ship. Dr. Zorlax, the alien doctor, floated into the room. He looked like a giant jellyfish with googly eyes. "Ah, Sarah Chen, you're awake. How do you feel?" Sarah tried to sit up but felt dizzy. "Like I got hit by a bus," she groaned. "A space bus." Dr. Zorlax's tentacles wiggled with concern. "You had what humans call a heart attack. Very strange. We thought your heart was broken forever, but it started working again. Fascinating." Sarah remembered fainting in front of the alien leader. She felt embarrassed. "How long was I out?" 3 Earth days, Dr. Zorlax said. "You need much rest. Maybe 1 Earth month of bed rest." Sarah's eyes went wide. "A month? No way. I have to get back to work. Earth needs me." But Dr. Zorlax was firm. His tentacles turned a stern shade of purple. "Doctor's orders. You stay in bed." As soon as Dr. Zorlax left, Sarah tried to get up. But alarms started beeping, and 3 little robot nurses zoomed into the room. They gently pushed her back into bed. "You," Sarah grumbled. "I feel fine." "Sort of." Just then, the big screen in her room turned on. It was General Baker calling from Earth. "Sarah, good to see you awake," he said. "We need you back at work. The aliens are getting restless. They keep asking for you." Sarah perked up. "See, I told Dr. Zorlax I'm needed. I'll be right there, General." But as Sarah tried to leave again, the robot nurses blocked the door. They beeped at her in alien robot language. Sarah didn't understand the words, but the message was clear. Stay in bed. Sarah flopped back onto her pillow. She needed a plan. She looked around the room for anything that could help her escape. That's when she spotted her spacesuit in the corner. A mischievous smile spread across Sarah's face. She had an idea. Sarah waited until the robot nurses were distracted, cleaning some medical equipment. Then, quick as a flash, she grabbed her spacesuit and put it on. She even remembered to put on her lucky socks. The helmet of the spacesuit covered her face. Sarah hoped the robots wouldn't recognize her. She walked stiffly towards the door, trying to move like a robot. Beep boop, she thought. I am just a normal space robot. Nothing to see here. Amazingly, it worked. The robot nurses beeped cheerfully at her as she passed. Sarah gave them a stiff wave, then hurried out of the medical bay. In the hallway, Sarah realized she had a new problem. She didn't know her way around the alien ship. Everything looked the same, shiny and weird. Sarah wandered the corridors, trying to find her way to the main control room. She passed aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some looked like walking plants, others like talking clouds. None of them seemed to notice that she wasn't supposed to be there. Finally, Sarah heard a familiar voice. It was the alien leader, talking to someone. Sarah peeked around a corner and saw the tree octopus alien in a big room full of screens and controls. Now's my chance, Sarah whispered to herself. She took a deep breath and marched into the room. Hello, alien friends, Sarah said in her best confident voice. I'm back and ready to work. The alien leader's tentacles waved in surprise. Sarah Chen. But Dr. Zorlak said you needed rest. Sarah took off her helmet, grinning. I feel great. Never better. Now, what did I miss? The alien leader looked unsure. Its leaves rustled nervously. Are you certain you're well? We don't want you to malfunction again. Sarah laughed. Don't worry about me. Humans are tough. Now, catch me up on everything. Just as the alien leader was about to speak, alarms started blaring. Dr. Zorlax's voice came over the speakers. Alert! Alert! The human patient has escaped. All tentacles on deck. Sarah's face turned red. Busted. The alien leader looked at Sarah with what she thought might be a smile. It was hard to tell with all those tentacles. You are a strange creature, Sarah Chen, it said. You risk your health to return to work. Why? Sarah thought for a moment. Because it's important, she said. Making peace between our worlds is bigger than just me. Sometimes, humans push through pain or fear when something really matters. The alien leader's colors changed to a warm, golden glow. Perhaps we have underestimated your species, it said. Very well. You may stay. But if you feel unwell, you must tell us immediately. Understood. Sarah nodded, relieved. Deal. Now, let's get to work. And maybe we can tell Dr. Zorlax to turn off those alarms. As Sarah settled in to catch up on 3 days of missed alien diplomacy, she couldn't help but feel proud. She had escaped robot nurses, tricked her way through an alien ship, and convinced the leader to let her work. Not bad for a girl who just had a heart attack, Sarah thought with a smile. She straightened her lucky socks under her spacesuit and got ready to save the world. Doctor's orders or not. Sarah sat in a big, weird-looking chair in the alien ship's main room. The alien leader, who Sarah now called Twiggy, because it looked like a tree, was asking her lots of questions about humans. So, Sarah Chen, Twiggy said, its leaves rustling curiously, explain to us why humans leak water from their eyes. Sarah blinked. Oh, you mean crying? Well, we do that when we're very sad. Or sometimes when we're super happy, or when we cut onions. The aliens all looked confused. One alien that looked like a floating cloud turned a puzzled shade of pink. Leaking for emotions. How inefficient, Twiggy said. And what is an onion? Sarah realized this might take a while. Okay, let me show you some videos. That might help explain things better. She asked for a computer and quickly pulled up some funny cat videos. The aliens crowded around, their eyes, or eye-like parts, glued to the screen. On the video, a cat tried to jump onto a table but missed, falling in a silly way. Sarah laughed, but the aliens just stared, not making a sound. That was funny, Sarah said. Don't you guys think it's funny? Twiggy's tentacles waved in confusion. The small furry creature failed its mission. This is amusing to humans. Sarah nodded. Yeah, sometimes when unexpected things happen, we laugh. It's like a happy surprise for our brains. The aliens looked at each other, still puzzled. Sarah had an idea. Let's try something else. I'll tell you a joke. She cleared her throat. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. Sarah grinned, waiting for a reaction. The aliens just stared at her. One alien that looked like a walking calculator spoke up. But atoms do compose all matter. This is factual, not humorous. Sarah sighed. This was harder than she thought. Okay, maybe jokes are too tricky. Let's try something else fun that humans do. She stood up and started doing a silly dance, waving her arms and shaking her hips. This is dancing. We do this when we're happy or when we hear music we like. The aliens watched her, fascinated. Slowly, some of them started to move too. Twiggy's branches swayed back and forth. The cloud alien puffed up and down. Even the calculator alien was beeping in rhythm. Sarah laughed at the sight of all the aliens trying to dance. It looked ridiculous. Suddenly, she heard a strange sound. It was like wind chimes mixed with bubbles popping. She looked around, confused. Twiggy's tentacles were shaking, and the sound was coming from it. The other aliens were making similar noises. With a jolt, Sarah realized what was happening. The aliens were laughing. You're doing it. Sarah cheered. You're laughing. The aliens seemed surprised by their own reactions. Twiggy's leaves turned a bright, happy yellow. This sensation, Twiggy said, still making the laughing sound. It's pleasant. Our insides feel bubbly and light. Is this how humans feel when they laugh? Sarah nodded, grinning from ear to ear. Exactly. Laughter is like joy that's too big to keep inside. It has to come out. The aliens were fascinated by this new experience. They wanted to know more about what made humans laugh. Sarah spent the next hour showing them funny videos, telling jokes, and even trying some silly magic tricks. Soon, the main room of the alien ship was filled with a mix of human laughter and alien giggling sounds. Even Dr. Zorlax floated in to see what all the fuss was about. What is happening here? The jellyfish doctor asked, his googly eyes spinning in confusion. Sarah, still chuckling, tried to explain. We're learning about human humor, Doc. Want to hear a joke about space? Before Dr. Zorlax could answer, Sarah continued. I was going to tell a joke about space, but it was too out of this world. To everyone's surprise, Dr. Zorlax's tentacles wiggled, and he made a sound like tinkling bells. He was laughing too. As the laughter died down, Twiggy turned to Sarah. Its colors a warm, friendly orange. Sarah Chen, we have observed many human behaviors through your television signals. We saw violence, conflict, and much we did not understand. But this laughter, it is wonderful. Sarah felt a warmth in her chest, and it wasn't from her recent heart attack. Yeah, it is pretty great. Laughter can bring people together, even when they're very different. Twiggy's tentacles waved thoughtfully. Perhaps our species are not so different after all. We have much to learn from each other. Just then, an alarm beeped. A screen lit up, showing General Baker's face. He looked worried. Sarah, he said, we've got a problem down here on Earth. We need your help, fast. Sarah's smile faded. She turned to Twiggy and the other aliens. Duty calls, she said. But hey, at least now do you know how to laugh if things get too serious. As Sarah hurried off to deal with the new crisis, she heard the aliens behind her, still practicing their giggles. She couldn't help but smile. Who knew that teaching aliens to laugh would be the highlight of her space diplomacy career? Mom's never going to believe this, Sarah thought as she raced to save the world. Again, Sarah rushed into the alien ship's control room, her heart racing. General Baker's worried face filled the big screen. What's the problem, General? Sarah asked, trying to catch her breath. The general looked nervous. Sarah, people on Earth are getting scared. They want to know what's happening up there. Some countries are talking about attacking the alien ships. Sarah's eyes went wide. Oh no, We can't let that happen. We need to show everyone that the aliens are friendly. Twiggy floated up behind Sarah, its leaves rustling with concern. What troubles our human friend? It asked. Sarah turned to the alien leader. Twiggy, we need to show Earth that you guys come in peace. Got any ideas? Twiggy's tentacles waved thoughtfully. Then, its colors brightened. Perhaps we could share our new skill with your people. Sarah looked confused. New skill? Oh, you mean laughing? Twiggy nodded its branch-like head. Yes. Laughter brings joy. Joy brings peace. We shall laugh for your world. Before Sarah could say anything, Twiggy pressed a button with one of its tentacles. Suddenly, all the alien ships around Earth started to glow with bright, happy colors. Then, a sound began to broadcast from the ships. It was the strange, bubbly sound of alien laughter. It echoed across the Earth, heard by everyone from big cities to small villages. On the screen, General Baker looked stunned. Sarah, what on earth is that sound? Sarah couldn't help but giggle. That, General, is the sound of alien friendship. They're laughing. All over Earth, people stopped what they were doing to listen. At first, they were confused, but slowly, something amazing started to happen. In New York City, a grumpy taxi driver heard the alien laughter and started to chuckle. In a small town in Japan, a sad little girl heard the sound and began to giggle. Even in the United Nations building, serious politicians cracked smiles. Soon, the whole Earth was filled with a mix of alien and human laughter. It was like a giant planet-wide laugh party. Sarah watched on the big screen, amazed at what was happening. She turned to Twiggy, grinning from ear to ear. It's working. You're making friends with the whole planet. Twiggy's colors swirled happily. This is most pleasing. But Sarah Chen, how do humans show friendship besides laughter? Sarah thought for a moment. Then she had an idea. Oh, I know. We give each other high fives. Twiggy tilted its branch head. High fives. Please demonstrate. Sarah held up her hand. It's easy. You just slap your hand against someone else's. Like this. She high-fived her own other hand to show Twiggy. Twiggy looked interested. It raised one of its tentacles. Like this. Sarah nodded. Yeah. Now we just slap our hands. Hand and tentacle together. Ready? Sarah held up her hand. Twiggy reached out with its tentacle. They moved towards each other, and splat. Twiggy's soft tentacle wrapped around Sarah's hand, making a funny squelching noise. Sarah burst out laughing. Okay, that didn't work quite right, but it was funny. Twiggy's leaves shook with alien giggles. Indeed. Shall we try again? For the next few minutes, Sarah and Twiggy kept trying to high-five. Each attempt was sillier than the last. Sometimes the tentacle would miss Sarah's hand completely. Other times, it would boop her on the nose by accident. The other aliens in the room watched, fascinated. Soon, they all wanted to try this strange human custom too. Before long, the control room was filled with aliens attempting to high-five each other. The cloud alien puffed high fives at the calculator alien. Dr. Zorlax was trying to high-five with his jellyfish tentacles, getting tangled up in the process. It was chaos, but the fun kind. The room echoed with alien giggles and splats. Suddenly, Sarah had another idea. Hey Twiggy, want to show this to Earth too? Twiggy nodded enthusiastically. Sarah asked General Baker to broadcast the scene from the alien ship to everyone on Earth. All around the world, people watched in amazement as the aliens tried to high-five. Kids laughed at the silly aliens. Adults smiled, realizing these strange creatures were just trying to be friendly. The scene was being shown on every TV channel, every phone, every big screen in every city. And everywhere, people started to relax. The aliens didn't seem so scary anymore. In fact, people started to imitate the aliens. In parks and streets, humans were trying to high-five each other in funny ways, laughing when they messed up. Back on the alien ship, Sarah watched all this happening with a big smile. She turned to Twiggy, holding up her hand one more time. "Okay, buddy, one more try. Let's show Earth how it's done." Twiggy reached out its tentacle. This time, instead of slapping, Sarah gently pressed her hand against the tentacle. It wasn't a proper high five, but it was a perfect alien-human handshake. "You did it!" Sarah cheered. Twiggy's colors turned bright, happy shades. On the screen, General Baker was smiling too. "Well done, Sarah. I think you just made peace with an alien race," with a high five. Sarah laughed. "Just doing my job, General. One silly handshake at a time." As Sarah looked around at all the happy aliens, then back at the scenes of joyful humans on Earth, she felt proud. Who knew that laughter and failed high fives could save the world? "I can't wait to teach them about fist bumps," Sarah thought with a grin. This job just keeps getting better. A few weeks had passed since the great alien laugh and high five party. Sarah was back on Earth, sitting in a big meeting room at the United Nations. She felt weird wearing a suit instead of her spacesuit. "Ms. Chen," said the UN Secretary General, "thanks to you, Earth has been invited to join the Galactic Council. What do you think we should do?" Sarah grinned. "Well, I think it's time Earth made some new friends in the universe. I say we join." The room erupted in cheers. It was decided. Earth would become part of the galactic community. The next day, Sarah found herself back on the alien ship, but this time she wasn't alone. She had brought a team of Earth's best scientists, artists, and leaders to meet their new alien friends. Twiggy greeted them, its leaves a happy shade of blue. "Welcome, Earth friends. We are most excited to share our knowledge with you." One of the scientists stepped forward, looking nervous. Mr. Twiggy, sir, we're eager to learn about your advanced technology." Twiggy's tentacles waved excitedly. "Of course, we shall show you our faster-than-light drives, our gravity manipulators, and our galaxy-wide communication systems." The scientist's eyes lit up like kids on Christmas morning. But then Twiggy continued, "In exchange, we hope you will teach us more about your Earth things, like pizza, and roller coasters, and something called breakdancing." Sarah couldn't help but laugh at the confused looks on everyone's faces. Over the next few months, Earth and the aliens exchanged all sorts of things. Alien scientists taught humans how to bend space. Human chefs taught aliens how to make chocolate chip cookies. Aliens showed humans how to build cities that floated in the sky. Humans showed aliens how to play soccer. One day, Sarah walked into the ship's main room to find a funny sight. Twiggy and a group of aliens were trying to do the Macarena, their tentacles and branches flailing about. "Sarah Chen," Twiggy called out, "we are practicing for the galactic dance competition. Will you be our coach?" Sarah grinned. "You bet I will. But first, let me teach you about the chicken dance. It's a classic." Soon, aliens all over the galaxy were doing the chicken dance at their parties. Back on Earth, things were changing too. Thanks to alien technology, humans could now take vacations on Mars. Kids played with toy spaceships that actually flew. And thanks to alien medicine, Dr. Zorlax had helped cure many human diseases. But it wasn't just Earth that was changing. The aliens were becoming big fans of human culture. One day, Sarah got a call from Twiggy. Its leaves looked extra green with excitement. "Sarah Chen, we have wonderful news. The Galactic Council has voted Earth as the most interesting planet in the galaxy." Sarah's jaw dropped. "Really? That's amazing. But why?" Twiggy's tentacles waved as it explained. "No other planet has such a mix of things. You have oceans and mountains, deserts and forests. You have thousands of languages and cultures. And you have pizza and tacos. Truly, Earth is a special place." Sarah felt proud. Earth, the little blue planet that once felt so alone in the universe, was now the cool kid in the galactic neighborhood. To celebrate, the Galactic Council decided to host the first ever intergalactic Olympics. and they wanted to hold it on Earth. The Olympics were like nothing anyone had ever seen. Aliens from all over the galaxy came to compete. There were traditional human sports like swimming and running, but there were also new alien sports. Sarah's favorite was quantum leapfrog, where athletes had to jump through tiny wormholes. The biggest hit, though, was the soccer match between Earth's best team and the alien All-Stars. The aliens had 6 legs each, which made them great at kicking. But the humans were better at headers, since the aliens didn't really have heads. In the end, the match was a tie. Everyone agreed it was the best game in the history of the universe. As the Olympics came to a close, Sarah stood on a stage next to Twiggy, looking out at a crowd of humans and aliens all cheering together. Twiggy turned to Sarah, its colors a warm, friendly gold. "Sarah Chen, when we first came to Earth, we thought we would be teaching you about the galaxy. But you have taught us so much more." Sarah smiled. "That's what friends do, Twiggy. They learn from each other." Just then, a small alien child floated up to Sarah. It looked like a cute little storm cloud. In its tiny cloud hands, it held a piece of paper. "Miss Sarah," the little alien said shyly, "I drew a picture of you. You're my hero." Sarah's heart melted as she looked at the crayon drawing. It showed her in her spacesuit, surrounded by smiling aliens and humans. As Sarah hugged the little alien, she realized something amazing. She hadn't just helped Earth make friends with aliens. She had helped create a whole new family, a family as big as the galaxy itself. "You know what, Twiggy?" Sarah said, her eyes twinkling with happy tears. "I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, for all of us." Twiggy nodded, its leaves rustling softly. "Indeed, Sarah Chen, the universe will never be the same, and it's all thanks to one brave human with lucky socks." Sarah laughed, looking down at her feet where her lucky alien-patterned socks peeked out from under her pants. "Well," she said with a wink, "every hero needs a good pair of socks." And so, as the sun set on the first intergalactic Olympics, Earth found itself at the center of a new, exciting, and very silly galactic adventure. And Sarah, well, she was ready for whatever the universe had in store next, as long as she had her lucky socks, of course.